Hey, how's everyone doing this week? Okay, true confession time. I feel like it's always true confession time. But here's the deal. If you ask my kids, and definitely my husband, I'm a nagger. It just comes naturally to me. Maybe it's my Enneagram 1 type, but I'm always looking for ways to improve things and situations. And unfortunately, for all of those people around me, people. So I'm not a natural acceptor. I'm a natural critic. And I'm hoping there's some other people out there, parents, who can relate. So show me some love in the comments if I'm not alone. So, what do you find yourself nagging about all the time? Here's kind of what the words that come out of my mouth sound like all day long. Swallow before talking. Slow down. Still body, quiet mouth. Repeat and obey. What did I just tell you? Walk on your heels. Slow down. Walk in the house. Be quiet. Stop tapping. Slow down. The list goes on and on and on. So, how does it make you feel by the end of the day? How does your kid feel? I don't know about you, but it also kind of kills the mood for connection. I'm not feeling super connected to the kid that I have to remind all the time. So I have a couple things that I've done in the past and that I'm trying now that I wanted to share. So the first is an end of the day glow grow. So I used this a lot more when I had all 6 kids at home, and just imagine the nagging potential for 6 kids. And so the idea was that unless it was truly a safety issue, and not just a trumped up safety issue, but like a legitimate safety issue, then I would kind of let things slide all day long. And I would take a mental note of what was going on. Actually, it was probably a physical note because let's be honest, parenting kids, and especially kids from hard places, kills brain cells. So if I were to remember what I needed to say to my kids by the end of the day, I was probably taking for real notes, either on my phone or like on a paper in the back pocket of my pants. So then we would all gather at the end of the night before bedtime prayers, and I would give each child a glow, something that I had seen them do during the day that I thought they did really well, and a grow, something that they could work on. And sometimes, if we had time, I would let siblings contribute to the glow list. So give them a chance to notice the things that their siblings were doing well. It's not a good idea to have siblings in on the grow list. But what I would do is often ask the child that I was talking to if he or she knew what I might choose for my grow that day. And often they knew what they were working on, and it was always better to come out of their mouth than to come out of mine. But even with my most fragile kiddo, because I hadn't spent the rest of the day nagging and critiquing and kind of triggering that shame core all day long, she was so much more able to accept what I had to say in terms of what she needed to work on. So, last week, I think it was, I had a really rough day with our youngest, and it kind of came out at the end of the day. I was getting ready to drive my daughter to dance and my son to his Ninja Warrior practice, and I came out to the car, and my daughter had asked my son to be quiet, and he had gone, yeah, 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 like this really ridiculous noise. And I kind of lost my cool, and I was like, that's it. It sounds like you need to come home and practice being quiet. And so it wasn't really a connected response. It wasn't so much a punitive response, but I like legitimately thought he just needed to calm down. But I also was not in the mood to take him to gymnastics or Ninja Warrior. So we came home, and I was just racking my brain for how I could make the situation better, better for me so that he wasn't always so, loud, and then better for him because he certainly was feeling really poorly about my decision to not go to Ninja Warrior. So we came up with this idea, the two of us, that we would write down everything that he needed to be working on an index card. Like each thing would get a card. So these are going to be backwards too because I'm using my selfie camera, but things like walk on your heels, or if you're finished one task, ask what to do next. Or one of my favorites, repeat and obey. So we have a whole kind of stack of those cards. And we came up with them together, and I let him brainstorm a lot of them. And then I told him that I was going to choose 2 cards every day, and we post them on the wall in our kitchen right by his head where he has breakfast. And that those would be the things that I would really, really focus on, and we would both work really hard on for that day. And that the other things I would focus less on. In a lot of situations, like if it's like chewing with your mouth full, I would probably let them slide. And, again, safety trumps everything, but I was trying to let a lot of things go. And he was really receptive to it. We had a lot of fun putting this together. It kind of redeemed the whole bad mommy, I didn't take you to enjoy or practice situation. And it's been working really well for us. The other key to this is we have neurotypical kids in our house, kids that generally follow directions and remember things the first time. And so having a sibling from a hard place who requires a lot of direction and who also is just kind of hard to live with can be really, really challenging. And so they're natural naggers too, and they get it naturally and honestly. But it was becoming a little bit of an issue because there wasn't just mommy nagger, there was brother nagger and sister nagger and cousin nagger and all of these people bugging him about all the things. So the 2 cards also apply to other people in the house. So we're all working together on just those 2 things, and we're leaving the rest alone, especially the siblings. So mom gets, some leeway about what she addresses because we're moms, and dads, but siblings definitely can't bug little brother about anything except for those 2 cards on the wall. And the way that we work really hard on the 2 things that we're focusing on for that day is a lot of positive reinforcement, positive affirmation, and giving lots of opportunities to practice those skills. So if it's like, remember to swallow before you talk, I might ask a question right in the middle of a meal just to kind of work on that. And we kind of just put our brain energy to focusing on that particular skill. And yeah, this is working really well so far too. So of course, things always seem to change like the weather, and one trick doesn't always work. So I would love to hear your thoughts and feedback on these things. I would also love to hear what you're doing. If you're a natural nagger and you have something that maybe you've been doing with your kiddos that's working well for you, because I always love to have extra tricks in my back pocket. As always, you can share your thoughts with me by just commenting on the video below, or reach out using some of the other ways in the description. There's also some other resources in the description that I encourage you to check out. The best way is, or my favorite way to connect with folks, is on my Essentially Connected Parenting Facebook group. But I also post a lot of encouragement and other thoughts and things I'm learning on Twitter and Instagram. So feel free to follow me there at @MACorkum. So I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.